Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jackie Littlewood, and I work for ABCUL, the Association for British Credit Unions, and I'm just supporting Hay Credit Union with their virtual AGM for this evening. I'm just going to go through some housekeeping. Welcome, everybody.
Good evening, Credit Union members and guests. I hope you can hear me.
We can.
I'd like to thank Jackie from the Association of British Credit Unions for taking us through the meeting housekeeping just now. Any questions, as she said, just pop it in the chat box and I'm sure she'll get straight back to you. And a very warm welcome to the 23rd Annual General Meeting of Hay Credit Union. Thank you for all attending online. This is our second online AGM. When we started planning this year's AGM, we did hope it could be done as a hybrid meeting with members physically present in the Guildhall in Hull, along with others joining online. But the ongoing COVID situation persuaded us that we would not be in the safest position to do that. And I think our decision a few months ago to have another online meeting has been justified. We hope you'll understand and we hope you'll enjoy the experience even so. I can confirm that we have more than 15 members present, which is our quorum for this meeting. And so we can begin. I'll now introduce some colleagues who are going to take part, and perhaps those mentioned could give a wave as I introduce them to you. We have Bill Meadows, one of our joint vice presidents. Bill. Alan Hignett, the other joint vice president. Tony Craggs, our treasurer. Chloe Burr-Pixton will be joining us later on. Unfortunately, she's had some transport problems, but she should be here with us at some point in the meeting. And John Smith, our chief executive, who I'm sure you all know very well. My name's Andy Stankard, and I'm your president. So I'll introduce some of the other directors that are in the meeting with us today. We have, starting at the top right, Kate Pike. Under Kate is Alan Davidson. To the side of Kate is Sue Nicholson. Matt Kelly's underneath Sue, Terry Dagnall at the top, and Anissa Akbar at the bottom right. I'd also like to welcome Mark Jackson of Jackson's Chartered Accountants, our external auditors, and our guest this evening in the United States is Scott Butterfield from Your Credit Union Partner. You're very welcome, Scott. Right, without any further ado, our first agenda item is the minutes of last year's AGM, which you will find in the control bar at the top right of the screen. These are available as a handout as well as on our website, and I propose to take them as read. Can someone who was present last year please move them as a correct record, please? I see Alan's hand up. Right, we'll have our first official poll of the evening. Do members agree to accept these as an accurate record of the minutes of the last AGM? Jackie.
The votes are coming in now, so we've got 83% of those members voted, and it's the majority. Yes. I'll keep the vote open for the minute.
Some members might not have been at the last AGM, so they probably wouldn't vote, possibly.
Yeah, that's fine. So it is a majority, yes. You're happy to close the vote?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Those minutes have been accepted. So we're now going to go to present our director's report, which you'll find on pages 5 to 9 of the annual report booklet that's available as a handout and also on the website. This is the usual double act between myself and John, our chief executive, and we'll share this presentation and take you through the slides on the screen. As always, we'll start off with some of the 2021 headlines. Our membership grew by almost 2% to leave us with 13,687 adult members and 1,373 junior members as of the 30th of September, which is the year end. The total savings of our members and juniors grew by 1.6 million to reach £14 million. The previous year had seen our loans balance drop by 8% due to the pandemic impact, but as this year progressed, we steadily turned the situation around so that our total loan book by year end was close to £5 million, an increase of 12.3%. The actual value of loans issued in the year was 3.8 million, an amazing 31% higher than the year before. And the total assets that you, our members, own rose by 12% to reach £15.6 million. I'll hand you over to John.
Good evening, everyone. At last year's AGM, you may recall that we launched our first ever social impact report, this document here, which was designed to tell our story and attempt to assess just how much practical difference Hay Credit Union had made for the communities that it serves during its 21-year life. We did this by reference to the key objectives of helping people to accumulate savings, helping people to access fair and affordable sources of credit, and promoting good money management skills. And one of the top findings was that we've saved our borrowers at least £20 million in interest charges by coming to us rather than borrowing from anywhere else. And it does represent a significant retention of money to benefit the Humber region's economy. We issued our report to the region's MPs, to the councillors, to opinion formers, and our key stakeholders, and it was featured widely in most of the news media in our region. It was also showcased at the ABCL annual conference as an example for other credit unions, and I notice some have issued similar reports since then. Can we move to the next slide? In May, we were very delighted to receive a visit from the Lord Mayor of Kingston upon Hull, Councillor Petrini, accompanied by Hull City Councillor Gwen Lunn. As well as thanking the team for the way that they were looking after the people of Hull during the pandemic, the Lord Mayor also made a presentation to me for service to the community over many years. That's why, Andy, I think might have been better if you'd done that one, but never mind. And I was very touched by the award that was made to me on that occasion. And I know the team were bowled over by the fact that the Lord Mayor took time out to come and see us. Next slide. As a service we offer to employers, large and small, is our payroll save and borrow scheme, which they can promote to their workforce as a much valued staff wellbeing benefit. Encouraging saving at work direct from your wages is proved to be the best way to capture long-term savings habit, enjoy great financial wellbeing and freedom from money worries. This year, the Southern Holderness Resource Centre and Shaw's Home Care became new payroll partners. We also refreshed our partnership with the Hiker Group, Rescue Call Centres and On Go Homes with a £25 joining incentive, which was funded by the Stop Loan Sharks team. We're constantly seeking other employers to join our scheme. And if you work for an employer that you think would make a good payroll partner for the credit union, please encourage them to become one. And if you do, we will reward you with £100 for doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. This year, we were proud to achieve accreditation as a living wage employer. And it's your board's policy to pay all our staff at or above the real living wage. The independently assessed real living wage is based on the cost of living and is voluntarily paid by about 9,000 UK employers who believe that we all need a wage that meets our everyday needs. It's currently around £1 per hour higher than the government's minimum wage for over 23-year-olds and applies to all employees from the age of 18 and up. John.
Okay. In the summer, we were nominated in 2 categories for the 2021 Consumer Credit Awards. These awards have been going for 6 years, and they're voted for by the customers or users, or members in our case, of a wide range of lending organisations. And thanks to your votes, we went through to the finals in August. And then on the 23rd of September, we were thrilled to emerge as the UK's Treating Customers Fairly champions. We shared the award with a much larger business called Bamboo Loans. And I'm pleased to tell you that we scored 100% in the consumer reviews that you, our members, very kindly left with them. So that was a very proud moment for our team. Can we move the slide on, Jackie, please? I think it's showing the wrong one. Yeah, that's the one, yeah. We've also been receiving some fantastic reviews on Trustpilot. We've got 97% of all our 146 reviews at 5-star level. Your feedback on the services we provide and the care that we provide for you is very important to the team. It helps to motivate them and constantly spurs them on to look for improvements and to understand what our members expect from their credit union. The 2021 member survey produced nearly 300 responses, all of which we took careful note of, and an action plan has been drawn up to work through any concerns and suggestions that people made. If we can go to the next one, please. One of your board's major objectives is to get more funds out on loan and to grow our loan book, so that we're providing the maximum possible level of support for our members who look to borrow. Our new loan administration system, called LACE, in its first full year, helped us to cope with a big upsurge in loan applications as the economy reopened after the COVID lockdowns. It helps us to turn applications round quicker. In some cases, we could produce a loan for people and have the money into their bank within 24 hours. As well as giving members better feedback on progress. The introduction of open banking has also proved a great success, saving many applicants the need to send in supporting paperwork such as bank statements, and it's helped to increase the overall acceptance rate for loans from around 69% to 78%. We've also set up a lending focus group to work on fresh ideas to grow our lending. And that's already making its impact felt with some new products that we've launched and new ways of issuing them. If we go to the next slide. We improved our website to make it easier to join and borrow and to find the best loan to meet your needs. Online application forms were introduced for flexi credit, matched loans, family benefit plans, and members lottery. And on the 14th of May, our chatbot, which we've named Jude, hey Jude, I hope that means something to some of you, went live to improve our responsiveness to people's queries 24/7. All the branch counters were equipped with COVID screens to let them reopen safely as restrictions were eased. And we took the opportunity to have a mini refit at Bridlington branch, which now looks very smart indeed. Withensea branch increased its opening times to 3 days a week, and Gould branch introduced a weekly presence at the community pantry, which is bringing a lot more families to our door. And thanks to Hull City Council, we now have some handy cycle racks outside our Brook Street branch, which also extended its opening times. We've continued to keep members informed with our monthly e-news bulletins, to your email accounts, and via our ever popular social media sites. If you don't get our email bulletins every month, then please have a word with us or consider whitelisting Hey Credit Union, because that might be the problem. They might be dropping into your spam box. So that's worth having that constant update as a member owner of our credit union. Back to Andy.
Thanks, John. You may recall at the last AGM we'd applied to Fair for All Finance, which is an agency funded with dormant asset money to support financial inclusion projects across England. to join their Affordable Credit Scale-Up programme. I'm pleased to report that following an extensive due diligence process, Fairfield Finance have agreed to make a significant investment to support our growth ambitions. This includes resources to scale up our marketing impact, support succession planning and team development and access. If needed, additional capital to underpin loan book growth is also available. This year, we've joined in virtual meetings and made presentations to a wide range of organisations. We've also linked up to the community pantries in Withensea, Beverley, Goole and Hull to provide information to their users. John.
Okay. A new venture this year was the sponsorship of the main event stage at Hull's Big Malarkey. This is a weekend family event in East Park run by Hull Libraries. We've also sponsored Easington United AFC, a football club in South Holderness, with, as you can see, a perimeter sign and a sponsorship of a player. We've also started a 2-year deal with Withensea Football Club with back of shirt sponsorship for 150 boys, girls and senior players. All these activities help to raise awareness of your credit union among families who are likely to be attracted by the products and services that we offer. We've also trialled paid Facebook advertising to spread the word about our family benefit plan and our Christmas loan deal. And we've run a 6-month campaign with Hull and East Riding Mumbler, which is a popular site that families look at for information. And that helps to drive more traffic to our website. Our members' lottery has considerably increased its ticket sales this year, enabling the promoters to donate over £5,000 as a contribution to our marketing activity and our training. You can find our lottery report and accounts as a handout on the platform, and it's easy to sign up online now to get into the monthly draw. So we hope lots more members will consider that, as it helps the credit union, as well as providing a bit of fun every month when we make the draw. And you will find on our social media very, very soon, there will be the Christmas draw results, which are our special triple draw. So you can see if you're one of our winners this time. I think that will be coming out tomorrow. Back to Andy.
Thank you, John. Our staff and volunteer team have coped remarkably well during a very difficult year, when we've seen more than our fair share of illnesses and cases of self-isolation. It's been a year of big change on the staffing front. In March, we said farewell to Eddie, our finance manager, one of the founders of this credit union, and we thank her for the outstanding way she kept our finance on track during 22 years of dedicated service. Our colleagues who retired were Jean, Tracy, Susan and several Driffield volunteers. We thank all of them for the great work and wish them well for the future. We welcome new colleagues, Helen at Bridlington and Katie in Hull, and congratulated Steve, our credit controller, on completing 10 years of service. And Andrew was promoted to a new role as Finance and Compliance Officer. Our Employees Council members have taken part in various consultations to develop our employee benefits and policies. And we introduced the Health Shield Employee Wellbeing Benefit and reduced the full-time working week to 35 hours. Now the next slide, please. You'll be pleased to know that we've continued to raise in support of the Yorkshire Air Ambulance. On Yellow Yorkshire Day, the 2nd of July, Matthew, Sarah, Helen and John took part in a sponsored cycling event, which we named To Brid and Back, as it involves cycling the distance between our Hull and Bridlington branches, either for real or on an exercise cycle. Meanwhile, Joe at Goole branch took part in a week-long sponsored silence, much to the amazement of local members. As a result of these efforts and the support of our members, we were proud to hand over another £1,300 towards keeping Yorkshire's air ambulance flying. John.
Okay, so now it's over to the finances. Let's start with a look at the revenue account. This is the difference between our income and our expenditure. Now, our income fell by 8% compared with the previous year, but this was entirely caused by the fact that in 2020, we'd received COVID relief business grants of £124,000, which of course were not repeated in 2021. I'm pleased to say that our main sources of income, the interest yield on members' loans and the interest on invested funds, together increased by nearly 5% compared with the year before. By contrast, our operating costs reduced by 5%. After paying our taxes of £18,000 and returning £31,000 to our Saver members as a dividend last December, we achieved a net surplus for the year of £95,022. So that's not a bad year for us, really. The surplus is 32% higher than it was in 2020, beating our budget that we set ourselves, and it shows how well that we've returned to pre-COVID levels of business. The surplus will be transferred to our general reserve to add even more strength to our capital position. So we can then move to the balance sheet. This is a snapshot on the 30th of September every year of what we own as an organisation and what we owe. Our net assets, which is what we own, grew by 12% to 15.5 million. The assets include our property, our equipment, total members' loans, cash and investments. Now, what we owe includes our members' savings, because our members obviously can collect them back if they want to. And members' savings were 13.5 million, and our junior savings were 590,000. Members have continued to save strongly with us through the year, with adult savings up by 13%. Now, the junior savings are only up by 4%, and I can explain that because we've started to repay our child trust funds, as the first account holders have now turned 18, and so they're able to draw the money that they've had squirreled away. So that's a success in itself, because we've helped a lot of young people to get onto a good footing with some savings. Thanks to the surplus that we've transferred in from the revenue account, that £95,000, our regulatory capital, which is our reserves basically, have increased by 95,000 to almost 1.4 million. And our capital to assets ratio, it has gone down a little bit from 9.3 to 9%. That's because our assets have been growing so very strongly, but it's not a problem for us because our total capital is well in excess of the minimum amount that the regulator requires us to hold. It's actually 446,000 more than the regulator requires. So you can see the strength of the Hay Credit Union balance sheet. And it does remain in a very sound condition to support our ongoing business development. So that's, in a nutshell, that's our finances. And it's back to Andy now as we start the question and answer session.
Thank you, John. Well, this part of the AGM is all for you. It's your chance to ask questions on the director's report that you've read and that John has presented, and John and myself has presented. For you to formulate your questions and put them in the chat area that Jackie explained at the beginning of the meeting. We will have a 5-minute break. So you can do this by typing them into the chat box, as Jackie explained, and when we restart, Jackie will read the questions out in turn and we will respond. Okay, so let's have your questions.
So depending on which devices you use, and it's in the question tab, question section in your control panel, or on an iPhone, it's indicated with a question mark either at the top of your device or the bottom of your device.
So we need somebody to start the singing, don't we? It's not going to be me.
Is the guitar not coming out?
Well, we did consider Bill's offer to get his ukulele out and play, but then we heard him and we decided not to.
I've got a member saying hi, everybody. So Josie Hendon's just saying hi to everybody. So
Very good.
get your questions typed in if you've got any questions for the panel. Everybody's been shy.
Mm.
It was so well presented, though. It was so well presented, there was no questions to be asked.
I hope the members, do feel it was all right. Maybe they're not saying anything, and there's issues.
There is
that
one
they're
in there,
not
John,
going to
if
tell
you
us about.
notice, from one
Oh, is
Emma
there?
Moffat.
Oh, is there? Oh, I know Emma Moffat.
Yes. My question is, why didn't my dad tell me he won an award? But Emma, would you like to answer that, John?
Not really, no. Oh dear, must have forgotten.
Forgotten.
Sorry,
too
Emma.
modest, John. Too modest, John. So Roger's saying, I would be prepared to promote the credit union services at KWL. Do you offer any information to assist this, e.g. posters and literature to distribute at induction?
Yes, very good, Roger. Yes, obviously before COVID, we used to go around different workplaces, and we used to run sometimes like a road show or a sort of session in the canteen, or we would join team meetings at different workplaces, and with a lot of success. Lots of people used to join us on those days. But obviously since COVID began, the lockdowns and so on, we haven't really been able to go into workplaces so much. So what we have instead, a colleague of mine would be able to send you an email link that can be shared with staff colleagues at that place of work, if you have email communications to everybody. And it does have a very simple joining tab that people can click into if they want to join. So we'd be very happy to send you that. And also, we can provide you with posters for the workplace, for like canteens and staff notice boards and so on. Really welcome the chance to get those spread around a lot more. And you're quite right, induction sessions at workplaces should really feature the credit union as a workplace savings scheme. So we maybe need to talk to somebody in your HR department to see if that is being done, or if not, how could it be done? So thanks very much for those very constructive ideas. Is that all right? Did everybody hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine, John, yeah.
Yeah. So Julie was saying, sorry, I can't ask a question about the finances as she doesn't know enough about them. Is there a reference to what you were saying as she couldn't see the screen? So all the finances are in the handouts to download depending on your device, and they are on the website as well, are they, John?
Yes, they are. They're on the website. Yes, we've got a news page on the website with all the AGM paperwork and so on. And so you can click into, there's a long-winded annual report and accounts, which includes every detail of our annual accounts, which, probably for those that are very keen on accounts, pouring through them would be of great interest. But there's also a mini version which is like called the review of the year, and it's got a snapshot of what we've said so far, plus some very simple data, about the income and about the balance sheet, so that people that are not necessarily quite so keen on delving into detailed accounts can nevertheless get an impression of how we've done. So I would encourage anybody to look on there. We will maybe get it put out on social media again, that review of the year, because I know it's in a digestible form that people can read just in short space of time. And
John,
of course,
I think Julie's point is that all she can see is me, which is kind of ruining her evening, I feel.
Oh, right.
I think this is one for you, Jackie. She needs to press something on her device so she can see all of us and the screen.
It should be just at the top of your screen, Julie. You click it and it should say view everybody as opposed to just one person.
As much as I like being viewed.
I know. There's 5 cameras up there, so I hope that helps, Julie. Dan says, will the expected rise in interest rates have any impact, as we've been in a low interest rate world for quite a while?
We have, yes. So the answer to that is, when interest rates rise or fall, there's like a two-pronged sort of impact, really. So on the one hand, if interest rates rise in the economy, then we're likely to get more income from our funds that are not out on loan. So the invested funds that are looked after for us will produce a bigger income. So we'll get more money into the credit union that way. Also, our loans might become more attractive, because if other providers put up their interest rates and we don't, then that makes more of a differential, more of a reason to come to the credit union to borrow. So that could be beneficial as well. On the other hand, of course, you, the members, might expect a higher dividend from us. So it puts more dividend pressure on us when interest rates are rising, because you can get bigger returns elsewhere, maybe. So that's the effect, when rates rise. If rates fall, then of course the opposite effects take place. So it isn't all positive or all negative. It's a mixture of the two. Hopefully that's explained it reasonably well.
Thanks, John. And are there any plans to open more branches in North Lincolnshire?
Well, there aren't any more plans for branches at the moment. We think that our network is now complete. But I will, a little bit later in the meeting, I'll be telling you about what we're doing in North East Lincolnshire. It isn't part of the annual report because it didn't happen in the year that we've just looked at, but I'll just give you a bit of an update in a few minutes' time about what we're doing in the Grimsby Cleethorpes area. So I think that'll complete our branch network, because most of the communities around the Humber region have now got reasonable access to a branch. And of course, there's online access wherever you live as well. Okay.
Okay, and the next question is regarding green loans. Do you want to pick that one up later in the meeting, or do you want to answer it now?
I'll be giving you an update on the green loans. Again, that was something we started after the year end, so it's sort of new news, but I'll give you a little presentation on that as well.
I think it's your advertising over your shoulder, John.
It probably is, yes. Well, at least it's done some good.
Yes.
I'm glad we got some questions after all. That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. And that was the last one, and that's it. We'll come back and ask the question when we've done the presentation later.
Yeah.
That's okay, Josie.
All right. Thank you for managing that, Jackie. Very well done. And thanks, John, for the answers. Well, thank you, everyone, for taking part in this part of the AGM. And I now have to ask members, are you prepared to receive the director's report? And this is, again, another vote.
Okay, so we've got 86% of the members that have voted so far. I'll just leave it to the minute. So we've got 89% of members that have voted, and it is a majority vote.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're happy to close that?
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the next item, item 3, which is the consideration of the accounts. The accounts for the year are found on pages 13 to 23 of the reports and accounts booklet, which is available as a handout. Are there any questions on the accounts? Again, if you can use a chat function, we will pick those up. Did you get the... We'll just give it a minute so that people can type a question if they have one.
Yeah.
I don't see any questions, Jackie, do you?
No.
Okay. What I'll ask then is, are members prepared to receive the accounts as printed in the booklet? Again, this is another vote.
Again, we've got 81% of members that have voted, and it is a majority.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. We'll take that. Thank you. Okay, item 4 is the auditor's report. It's on pages 10 to 12 of the booklet, and I will now invite Mark Jackson of Jackson's Accountants and Statutory Auditors to comment on the audit. Mark, are you with us?
Yes. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for appointing me as auditor last year, and pleased to meet you this evening. Just to say, we carried out the audit this year in the offices in Hull, and we also visited the branches. So we didn't find any errors in the accounts. We audited the financial statements for the year ended 30th of September 2021. We conducted the audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, and the conclusion was they gave a true and fair view, and we were happy to sign off without any problems. And I'd just like to thank the staff at the credit union for helping us complete our work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Do members have any questions to ask Mr. Jackson on the auditor's report?
Again, if there's any answers, it's questions to ask the auditors. If you just want to type them into the question tab.
That one.
Again, we'll just give a minute or so people can have time to type in if they wish. I don't see any questions, Jackie, do you?
No, there's nothing there. No.
Okay. What we'll do then is I will ask if members and owners are prepared to accept the auditor's report. And again, this is another vote.
So we've got 86% of the members that have voted, and it's a majority vote.
Thank you, Jackie. We'll take that. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 5, the declaration of dividend. And I invite Tony Craggs, our treasurer, to give us a report. Over to you, Tony.
Good evening, everyone. In 2020, the uncertain financial climate and the fact that we'd received COVID relief grants from public funds led your board, unfortunately, to reduce the dividends to 0.3%, although at the time they remained above the market returns for access funds. This year, as you have heard, we have achieved a higher level of surplus, and while the economic prospects for the coming year remain challenging, your board is pleased to be able to recommend the payment of an increased dividend of 0.7% on all membership, Christmas, community and instant access accounts, and also on the junior accounts. They will be 0.7% too. Please remember that these dividends apply to savings for the year ended 30th of September 2021. Thank you. Back to Andy.
Thank you, Tony. I now ask members to vote to declare the recommended dividend of 0.7% across all savings. And again, this is a vote.
As a majority vote.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. We'll take that. Thank you, everybody. The dividends will be added to members' accounts tomorrow. Item 6 is for us to appoint an auditor for the year 2021 to 22. Our existing auditors, Jackson's Accountants, are willing to be reappointed for the coming year. So we will ask you if that is agreed or not. And again, this is a vote.
We've got a majority vote again at 89%.
Thank you, Jackie. That's carried and appointed. So, agenda item 7 is the elections to the board of directors. I just need to check, Jackie, is Chloe with us at the moment or not?
Just let me double check.
Okay. No, okay, I'll do this then. I was going to hand over to Chloe to do this bit, but obviously she's having some technical problems with her car, so I'll do this in her stead. We've received 4 valid nominations for 4 places on the board, so thank you to everyone who has been nominated for agreeing to stand. The candidate election statements have been made available in handouts for you to view or to download, and your candidates are in alphabetical order, and they're on your screen. Alan Davidson, Joseph Hendon, Bill Meadows and Kate Pike. Now, as the number of nominees does not exceed the number of vacancies to be filled, the rules allow us to dispense with the election procedure and declare that all nominees are elected en bloc. Would all members please now vote on whether you wish these 4 candidates to be duly elected to the board en masse? And that's a vote.
And we've got 86% of the members that have voted, and it is a majority yes.
Thank you, Jackie. So I confirm that all 4 candidates have been validly elected, and congratulations to Joe on joining our board for the first time, and to Alan, Bill and Kate on being returned for a further term of office. Well done. So I'll move on to community donations, and I will invite Alan Hignett, one of our vice presidents, to speak on this topic. Alan, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Good evening, members. Normally at our AGM, we would pass the boxes around and invite members to give their spare change to the Hay Credit Union Charity of the Year. Clearly, this isn't possible this year. So your board has agreed that the money that we would normally spend on a room and a buffet tea at the AGM should instead be given to charitable organisations helping people across the communities that we serve. We therefore propose to give a modest donation to each of these organisations. Brillington MASH, which deals military veterans assistance and a social hub. Driffield and Wolds Food Bank. Gould's Christmas Toy Appeal. The Forge Project in Scunthorpe, which offers food and vital support services to North Lincolnshire's homeless and roofless. Withensea Armed Forces and Veterans Breakfast Club, Cherry Tree Community Pantry in Beverley, Hull Trades Council Unity Shop Food Bank, East Marsh United Community Benefit Society Grimsby, dedicated to transforming East Marsh for the better. Do the members approve of that proposal? I believe we're having a poll. Do you approve the proposed charitable donations? How are we doing, Jackie?
Sally says bravo, and we've got to the 89% of members, and it is a majority yes.
Oh, thank you. So thank you, members. Now handing back to Andy.
Thank you, Alan. Before we go any further, can I just ask Scott how he's doing for time? We have 2 items before we get to you, but I can change the agenda if you're pushed. You're on mute, Scott.
Thank you, Andy. I have a hard stop at the hour.
Would it be safer for you if we took you next then?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to explain, we have 2 agenda items before we were going to bring in Scott Butterfield, but I know he's pressed for time because he has another meeting not too long in the future. So I'm going to change the agenda around and I'm going to take Scott now. And Bill is going to introduce Scott. Over to you, Bill. You're on mute, Bill.
There we go.
Thank you. Try again. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Scott Butterfield, our credit union partner. We invited Scott to work with us earlier in the year because of his broad experience within the credit union movement, essentially to give us an external view on how we are doing and to suggest opportunities to develop and improve our member services. We've integrated this process into the time we set aside every year for the board to do development work. So over to you, Scott. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bill. And thank you everyone for the opportunity, not just to say a few words at this member meeting, but also to listen and hear about the great things that this credit union is doing. Quickly, my name is Scott Butterfield. I have been working in the credit union movement since 1985 in the U.S., 25 years in credit union leadership, and as a credit union consultant for the last 12 years. And what my team does is we work with credit unions, small, medium, and large, about 230 credit unions in the U.S. and several credit unions outside of the U.S. where we provide strategic planning services, working with leadership at the credit unions to do an internal review to assess how the credit union is doing from a service, a financial, and also a community impact perspective. And then we also, as Bill mentioned, we work with the credit union leadership to identify what risks are in the environment that we need to be prepared for. What are some opportunities, emerging opportunities that are out there that the credit union leadership needs to be prepared for, so that just as the credit union responded favorably and admirably during the pandemic, that they're in a position, the credit union is in a position to continue to serve members and fulfill its vision, regardless of the outcomes and the things that happen in the future. And of course, there are many, many threats that are currently in, certainly economic. There are many opportunities. Some of those may be regulatory for the credit union in the next several years and may positively influence the type of products and services available at your credit union. And so working together, we have reviewed a lot of information. We have had many conversations and have had some very frank conversations about what does tomorrow look like and what should the credit union be prepared to do. Throughout that process, I'll be sharing things, for instance, examples. We work with some of the most impactful and successful credit unions in the U.S., and we get to see the best and the brightest, and sharing that information. Each year, I have at least 35 planning sessions with credit unions of all sizes, and so I will be sharing some of those insights, and I've shared some of those insights with your credit union. And so as we're going through this process, I want to take just a minute and share some observations so far as we've worked through this process with your credit union leadership. First and foremost, and it's evident if you've participated in this meeting, that your credit union is led with committed and capable group of leaders. And, you know, it's one thing I can show up and just say that, and it sounds lovely, but it's more important to come and share some specific reasons why I believe that is the case. And looking first at the vision, if you look at the credit union's vision, aims, and objectives, it's very clearly laid out why the credit union exists: to enable financial well-being, to be efficiently run, to create and offer ethical services, to promote thrift, and to create affordable access to credit for its members. I really like the tagline, "Fair Alternative." So how do you measure success? How do we know if your credit union is performing well against its mission, aims, and objectives? Well, one of the ways that I look at is member surveys. And I had a chance to pore through the last member survey that was done. And honestly, I was so impressed with the level of positive response this credit union has received from its members. And of course, no organization is going to have 100%, satisfaction. There's always going to be things that the credit union can learn from and improve from. But I will tell you that the results from your survey were very, very strong for this credit union. And one comment from a member that struck me, really struck me, giving my belief in the purpose of credit unions, was from a member who said, it's made a real difference to my life, and I have been able to give my children a good life thanks to the credit union. And for me, that comment summed up why credit unions exist, what makes credit unions relevant in today's marketplace. And this to me is, and the overall comments came back, show me, and also the results that were in the community impacts report that was presented, is that your credit union leaders are committed to the vision, aim, and objectives of this organization. The second observation is that, and it's been shared already in the numbers today, is that a credit union is vibrant and it's growing. And this is critically important today for credit unions. We're in a very competitive market, whether it's high street banks on one side of the competitive landscape, or it's, the loan sharks on the other end of the landscape. It's a very competitive market out there. And so I look at things like, is the membership growing? Are loans growing? Is the credit union able to pay good dividends? Is the credit union able to keep up with technology and do things that they need to do? And, is the credit union able to give back to its community? And so, as Ert mentioned previously, strong growth numbers, good revenue numbers. And again, revenue is important. We have no desire to be a high street bank, but we certainly have to be sustainable so we can return dividends back to our members, and we can invest back into the credit union to make sure that we can remain relevant. Looking at the growing list of partners, looking at the grants that have come in, for me, demonstrate that this credit union is vibrant and growing. And then finally, safe and sound. Again, it goes back to sustainability. This credit union is well capitalized. It's got solid loan quality and asset quality, which protects the members and is generating a healthy revenue, again, which are important for sustainability. And so those are the objectives that I've had of this credit union so far. I believe that as we get into the final strategic priorities, your credit union is very well positioned to adapt and change and find new and better ways to continue to live up to its mission or its vision, aims, and objectives, and to take care of its members and to help support the communities then that they operate in. And I'd just like to, as a final word to the members, since I have this opportunity, your involvement and engagement in this credit union is critical. You've already demonstrated your commitment to that in participating in this annual general meeting. Some things that you can do to continue to support this credit union. And again, why would you want to support it? If you believe that this credit has made a difference in your life, if you believe that this credit union is an important part of the communities that you live and work in, then your support is critical. How can you support? One, advocate on behalf of the credit union. Invite your friends and your family, your neighbors and your coworkers to join this credit union, to save money, to get access to good financial advice, to borrow. Lending is the sustainable piece that supports the things that we're doing. And of course, it is the fair alternative. Volunteer. Your commitment. The success that the credit union is having today is because of your commitment, and your continued commitment is going to be vital to the future success of this credit union. What you do matters, and just please know from my professional perspective, having worked with hundreds of credit unions and not just in the US and other countries as well, that you have a very vibrant, growing, safe and sound, and impactful credit union. And I'd like to thank the credit union leaders for the opportunity that I've had to learn more about this wonderful credit union. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and attend our AGM this year. Thanks a lot. Okay, we'll jump back on the agenda now to John, who's going to talk to us about what we've been doing more recently in North East Lincolnshire. John.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think I've disappeared from the list of presenters. It's my fault, probably. I've probably pressed a button that I shouldn't have
Need to put your video back on, John.
Oh,
Yeah,
there we go. Yes, it's come up. That's it. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so I'm just going to tell you about two things, really. But I thought, you know, because my daughter's obviously watching and other people have commented, you know, just show you behind me is the certificate and the wonderful tankard that the City of Kingston upon Hull gave me recently for what they said was my contribution to the community over many, many years. It will be many years because I'm getting on now, but I just thought people might like to see it because it does mean a lot to me, even though I'm not one to talk about these things a lot. So thank you, everyone. Now then, North East Lincolnshire. Now, one of the members earlier asked what we were doing about our branch network and were we going to open any more branches. And we've had over the past 22 years, you know, gradual increase in our branch network of walk-in branches where people can come and see us and talk to us close to where they live. But there's one piece of the jigsaw that was missing, and that was North East Lincolnshire. And this includes the very large urban area of Grimsby Cleethorpes with a population of 132,000. So I'm very pleased to tell you that last month we completed the jigsaw by opening our latest branch there. And our intention is to operate from some space within the Central Library in Grimsby. But you know, these things come along, and what happened was the building was suddenly closed on the 4th of November due to building works. So that's forced us to change our immediate plans. So for the time being, we are operating from Cleethorpes Library on the seafront. And it opens every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday from 10 o'clock till 2. And also, from this week onwards, we're going to operate every Friday morning from Freeman Street Market, which is a very, very popular part of Grimsby. It's absolutely packed with people shopping on a Friday morning, on a Friday at Freeman Street. So that's where we will be, right at the heart of the community. And our Grimsby branch is staffed by two excellent people, Quinn Needham and Sally Johnston. I think they might have joined the meeting today. In their first month, they've made a cracking start, reaching out to the North East Lincolnshire community in a big way. And I feel that the branch is in very good hands. They've got lots of connections with the community that will benefit us as time goes on. We already have a payroll partnership for the benefit of staff at the council, North East Lincolnshire Council. And some local residents have discovered us online. So as a result, we already have about 230 members in the area, 90 of whom are borrowing from us as well as saving. And our mission is to bring safe savings and affordable credit to many more people in the area in the years ahead. And there's a lot of potential to do so. If we can grow our membership to 2% of the population, which is the average of the other towns where we have a branch, then that will bring another 2,500 members into our credit union. So if you live in North East Lincolnshire or you have anything to do with that area, please spread the word about our new branch and we'll keep you updated about how it's doing. Thank you. Can we move to the next slide, please? And this is to tell you about our latest product, the Green Loan. So while the heads of world governments were at the COP26 summit in Glasgow talking about climate change, here at Hay Credit Union, we were launching our latest loan product, the Green Loan. It's the perfect choice for members who are keen to fund their green ambitions and plant trees to make a better world. As a credit union, we know lots of our members are very passionate about the sustainability of the planet. This special loan is tailored to supporting your efforts towards net zero and making a positive impact on our precious environment. It's available for a wide range of green projects, large and small. It could be, for example, to make your home greener, might be insulation, double glazing, ventilation systems, heat pumps, solar panels, or just a boiler upgrade, maybe. Or it could support your efforts to travel to work or for leisure in a more environmentally friendly way. Perhaps a new or second-hand electric car, hybrid car, electric bike or pedal bike or scooter. Or it could be to install a charging station. So, you know, whatever your green ambitions, please think of us. We will take 15% off our normal interest rate for this size of credit union loan if you provide us with a quote about your plans or let us pay your supplier direct. And what's more, for every green loan taken, we'll donate a tree to the Haywoods Forest. Now, this is a community woodland project that aims to increase woodland cover and improve wildlife habitats across Hull and East Yorkshire, an area that we're told has only 2.6% woodland cover, significantly below the national average of 8.4%. So we want to green up the region. And as a credit union, we can help our members to translate their concern for the environment into practical action and together forge a better future for our planet. So if anyone has any questions about those topics, you're welcome to ask in the meeting, or you can send an email afterwards to me and we'll do our best to give you the answers you need. Okay, so I hope those two updates have been of interest, and I now hand back to Andy to close the meeting.
John, can I just say that there was a question earlier, and Joseph asked what was the, have you had much success with the green loan, and any ideas of what members are using them for, especially in line with the government pushing for air source heat pumps? Yeah,
it's very early days. We only launched it, as I say, a month ago, and we have had some inquiries, and you know there are some applications I think going through, but at the moment I can't really tell you how many we've had or what. And I know we've often made loans to people for bicycles and for cars, and we've also done you know loans for various home improvement projects which have a green element to them. So I'm pretty sure that when word gets around, we will, you know, get a lot of response on this one. It's just really a case of early days yet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. So before I do close the meeting, we're going to make our prize draw. Each winner in the draw will receive a £10 gift voucher, and I'm going to ask Jackie to randomly select and read out the names of the 10 winners tonight. Jackie.
Jackie's muted, I think.
I'm doing the same. Scott should still be on doing the bingo bit, shouldn't he? So yeah, I think I've taken everybody out, but we can double check. So the first prize draw is oh, there we go. So no Steve is with us. So well done, Steve Verity. So that's the first prize draw. Just write that down. Okay, well done, Steve. So the next prize draw is Just double check. Yeah, and Melissa's with us as well, so well done, Melissa. And where's that one gone? Got there. Definitely got David Martin in. Well done, David. Bear with me a second. I'll just carry on. Julie Taylor. Just bear with me a second. And the fifth prize is just check Brian's with us. Yeah, Brian is still with us. Well done, Brian. Just check Sandra's still with us. Yeah, Sandra's still with us. Well done, Sandra. And Terry, well done, Terry. So we're on to draw 8. Had to be one, didn't they? Well done, John.
Thank you.
And I've got Matthew with us as well. Yep, well done, Matthew. And the last one, good luck to everybody.
Jim.
I think Jim's still with us. Yep, Jim's still with us. Well done, everybody. Go back.
Thank you, Jackie.
Slide.
Love the spinning wheel.
It makes it more interactive, doesn't it?
Okay, as we draw to the end of the meeting, I'll just remind everyone that you will receive an email inviting you to give your feedback on tonight's meeting. And please do complete it and return it to us because it helps us to plan future meetings. And you never know if we might be in a similar situation this time next year, hopefully not. But we might well move ahead with having hybrid meetings anyway, because that does allow people who live in more outlying areas than Hull to take part as well. But we'll see what the future brings us. So it just remains me to thank everyone who's played a part in tonight's meeting and everyone who's attended, and to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for your support and loyalty to our credit union. Thanks a lot for being here tonight. And if I don't see you before, I'll see you at the next AGM. Take care. Good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. So to leave the meeting, if you go to the top right-hand corner on your control panel, it's File, Exit, and Leave Webinar. And your control panel right up at the top, File, then Exit, and Leave Webinar. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Jackie. Thanks a lot for your help.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.